I don't ask you to smoke, but be open. Don't judge. I'm not judging your ways. I'm not judging you getting drunk every night at the pub. Just be more open and understand that cannabis and hemp are really beneficial for so many things.
Hi babes, Lady Silverstone here, and welcome to my podcast, where we're trying to demystify cannabis, one conversation at a time. In this episode, we're talking about paving the way to other cannabis advocates on social media, advertising of CBD, and being a farmer with our guest today. She's a co-founder of a platform on social media called Women of Weed UK, where women can share and be open about their own cannabis use. She is a psychologist in the UK and she has been advocating cannabis for 7 years. Let's welcome Nina. I hope you enjoy it.
Hello.
Hey, darling. How are you?
I'm good. It's really nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you too. Even though I wish it was like in Cannabis or someplace else.
Oh, tell me about it.
I know. And how about, because you're French, right?
Yeah, I'm French, but I live in London, yeah.
Yeah, so I lived in Paris as well for like 6 years. And that's where I met my husband.
Oh, that's awesome. So your husband speaks French and everything?
Yeah. So he's actually born in Indonesia. And then when he was about like 9 years old, he moved to Paris with his parents.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, super nice. So that's also why we went to Bali, because like his family's there, and it was nice to see that part of the world as well.
Definitely.
Have you been over there?
No, I've been to India quite a lot. Every time I have the chance to travel to Asia, I go to India.
Okay, where in India?
So the south mostly, because I used to work there. So I made a lot of friends there. So I used to work in mental health in India. And so all the Karnataka areas, so Mumbai, Bangalore, Mysore. Yeah.
Okay, so what exactly did you do then?
So because, I studied psychology, I went there to do like internship in a big neuroscience and mental health institute. And I gave a couple of lectures at the University of Science for Women.
Okay, super interesting.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I can imagine that you missed it though. And like, as you did such a important work as well there, like that is very close to your heart as well.
Exactly. I do miss the culture. I miss everything. So that's why I'm happy that I've got Asian friends here as well in London, because then I get to be back, with the food and people, and that's nice too.
Yeah. And also that's where you were yesterday, no? You were at an Indian party, or was it Indian?
Yeah. The wedding is continuing today, so I'll have to go after that. I have to go back and then finish it Saturday.
Oh, wow. Yes, it's like those 3 day weddings. They must be fun though.
It's so good. It's really good, yeah.
Okay, well, so I want to thank you as well for joining my podcast. Super nice to finally speak to you. So I would like you to make a little like introduction of yourself to the listeners, and also you don't necessarily only have to include your cannabis journey, but just like your journey. Do you call yourself Nina always, or?
Yeah, so I call myself Nina. My close friends called me Nini. So this is where my Instagram name came from, Like since I'm a little girl, my parents, my family, friends, everyone calls me Nini. But yeah, Nina is my name. I quite like it. But yeah, people, when they recognize me, they call me Nini. So I'm French. I've lived in France since I was born until the age of 25. And at the age of 25, I decided I needed a big change. So I moved to the UK. That was pretty random. I didn't know anyone, didn't have any job, any money, any place to stay, didn't even speak English. So I just, big change. And then once I arrived here, everything went quite fast. I managed to find a little job in Starbucks, and this is in Starbucks that I learned to speak English. And then I feel it's better than school, when you just don't have choice. You have to force yourself to speak, communicate, and where I wasn't in London. I was in a little town in England, so there wasn't any foreigners at all. So it really helped as well. I didn't get to speak French anymore, so I picked it up quite quick. And then a few years after, once I felt confident enough with my English, I decided to go back to university. So I did a psychology degree in London, and this is where I moved to London. So that was 4 years ago. Before that, I did 1 year of illustration and graphic design, just because drawing and doing this kind of things was always a passion for me. So I decided to try to get a foundation degree just to learn a bit more skills, just for myself, not really to do anything else, just for myself. And then yes, psychology. And with the psychology path, this is when I fell into the cannabis world as well, because they were really, really closely related, both on the science way and both on my own journey. And I was lucky enough that these two things were going alongside, both together at the same time and the same speed, and they were really linked. So that was quite important for me.
So where are you like now? What happened then after that when you dove into the cannabis part of it?
So when I fell into the cannabis part, I got really not obsessed, but really, really interested. Learning about the endocannabinoid system for me first changed all the stigma and prejudice that I could have myself around cannabis. So I think for that first learning about plants and things like that at uni, I mean, not plant, but like the endocannabinoid system mostly. And alongside, as a student job, I used to work in Whole Foods. I was in the health and beauty department, and Whole Foods was good enough to pay me studies in nutrition and plants and things like that, which I was interested in before because I was vegan for 7 years before that. So, but really this has been a massive click, I hadn't put all the pieces together until I hear about the endocannabinoid system. So then I started going to events because London is great for that. There's a lot of talks all the time, a lot of conferences. We have the Imperial College London, not so far. They have amazing physicians. They study cannabis. And so this is when I started learning more. And at the same time, whilst I was working in Whole Foods, this is when they started selling CBD and things like that. So I got really interested, and I met people who were selling CBD, who were extremely knowledgeable, and they taught me a lot. And then from that, I started going a bit more into the underground scene, because again, in London, it's easy. I feel it's less dodgy than going on the dark web and trying, So it was quite easy to even go into the underground scene of the cannabis with like dinners and clubs, event conferences, all of that. And then this is where I really networked, and I met amazing people. And throughout the whole journey, everyone has been giving me knowledge, opportunities, and I'm really grateful.
I'm very happy to hear that. Okay, so tell us about then, because how many years, or I don't even know if it was years, were you in Oregon?
So it was a month, actually. It was a few months. That was pretty much all half last year. That was an opportunity I got temporarily. And now, to be fair, I'm dying to go back. Basically, that was a job mostly in marketing. But when I say marketing, that's just for me to have a label to put on it. Because to be fair, I was doing everything that was necessary, everything that I could possibly do. I was doing it. So either graphic design, photos, food, helping at the farm, anything I could do, I was really happy to touch a bit everything, to learn everything. And this was like, I think, an amazing opportunity. And now I'm just waiting for the borders to open again, to go back there a little bit, because this is the only thing holding me back now. That and my day job in London, obviously, because I do have a life besides my cannabis journey. I do have a day job here in London, and once the border open again in America, once Europeans are allowed to travel back there, I will go and I'll ditch my day job in London.
Yeah. No, but I can imagine that maybe gives you more. I don't know, maybe than your job now in London. I don't know. Maybe do you work in cannabis now in London or no?
No. I have a job alongside my career in psychology. So I help women and children fleeing domestic violence.
Okay.
All the administrative aspects of it. I help them getting visa, divorces, going to school, learning English. I help with doing counseling as well. So I do counseling with them. It's this whole thing about helping women being back into real life independently and safely. So that's my day job. But my passion for the cannabis world is just too big and I just can't live it. So no matter what I do to pay bills and my rent, I'm always involved into the cannabis industry. I can do both at the moment, but I'm dying to go back to America, not permanently, just learn more things. And
yeah. So for there, like you see so it was a farm that you were working at, or was it more of a grow house?
Yeah, I worked with a brand called Blue Ridge Hemp. I still do bits and bobs with them occasionally, and basically they are based in different states in America. So back in North Carolina, I used to help with the shop, with food and things like that. And then going to Oregon, that was more the farm aspect, wholesale bulk, but also helping with trimming the flowers and drying process, all these things. And then we went to like California and Nevada for like big cannabis events. So it depends where you are in America. It affects what you do, because there are some states where it's not legal. So obviously you're going to do a different job there. And yeah,
I can imagine though that there's like a lot of my listeners that really want to do this kind of adventure, obviously, because as it's so new, and here in Europe there's so many limitations still when it comes to this, whether it's at a farm or working, in-house on different projects. When it comes to cannabis, it's still pretty hard, right? So is it easy to...
No, but I was lucky to have friends to take care of me. So basically I met people in the cannabis industry in America, but I met them in London. And this is when we decided to start working together. And having friends who are Americans, who live there, that's their business, just putting me on a flight and helping me with the transition, that was quite easy. So I was lucky with that. Then when you look at, there's actually amazing websites. If you look, for example, 420 Jobs, that's a website that's like Indeed or, this kind of job search website, but it's called 420 Jobs. And they advertise a lot of jobs in America that are linked to the cannabis industry. But, there's always the visa problem. There's always the traveling problem. There's always the problem of having a place to stay, even when you go to America. So it's like, if you have a place here in Europe, how do you deal with it? So that's all these little logistic things that are quite complicated. But when you look at these websites, you realize that in America, there's so many opportunities, either being what they call a bud tender. So bud tender is working in dispensaries and just selling cannabis, advising people. Then you have a lot of seasonal jobs at the farms as well for the harvest. There's really a lot of opportunities over there, yeah.
Within this decade, I can see the same kind of website here in Europe, or at least I hope.
I think there's I met some people not so long ago. Well, not so long, that was back in October last year. They do have a recruitment site, actually. I think they are called Bloom Jobs, and they have a recruitment website for jobs related in cannabis. That's in Europe, but the jobs that they advertise, since cannabis is not legal here, they are really pharmaceutical and lab based. So you need like biomedical studies and things like that. So for now, that's what's available, or finance jobs, because finance in the cannabis industry, that's what has the monopoly in Europe, unfortunately.
Just to jump over to Women of Weed UK. So tell us a little bit about the group and how come you co-founded it, and who you co-founded it with, and what's the vision of it?
That happened really randomly. So there was, I think, Susie, my friend, Canna Girl for 20, I think, on Instagram. So Susie contacted me and she was like, oh, I really would like to do that. And it's something we had in mind. And then she threw me the idea. I told her, bear with me a second, just went on my iPad, worked a little logo, sent it to her. She was like, oh my God, yes. And then she was like, oh, let's make an Instagram. So we made an Instagram. And then I told her, mate, I'm too busy to run the Instagram. I can make some graphics for the thing, but and she was like, I'm going to do it. And then Sherry as well, Ladybuds of London, she joined us on the way. She really helped us starting, with like making stickers, and we started sending things here and there. But Sherry now, she has already like a huge network and business of her own. So she's doing her own thing now. So that's mostly Susie and me now in Women of Weed. So yeah, and then it kicked out really, really well and really quickly, because we realized that there wasn't such platform already for all the women in the UK and in Europe as well, or even in the world, to just connect, but with no requirements, with no prejudice, not judging, just a platform where women can be, share tips, share brands, share experiences, feedback, but also to share about events, about books, but whatever, it's really a platform like cannabis Tinder, I don't know, just to put people together. And what we really found our place in the way that we are really inclusive and diverse. So, for example, there's women, they've never had cannabis in their whole life, they've never had hemp in their whole life, CBD, nothing, and they go through this platform to ask us for advice. So it's like even beginners, even people not related to the industry at all, come to us first and ask advice. And for me, this was a goal, to be friendly, approachable, and to look trustworthy enough for people not related to make a first step with us, So we all love our cannabis, we all have our things. Some people like dab all day long, smoke all day long, some people just once a week. And it's really for everyone.
Yeah, and different kinds of, like you say, different kinds of usage as well, because as well some people use it medically and and every day and a lot, for example. Others need only CBD, for example, or some people really need, so it's, you need to see all these people.
Exactly. So people who are just consumers, people who enjoy it casually, people who take it medically, patients, people who have businesses, it's really for everyone who is interested in the plant.
Sorry for interrupting. I hope you enjoy listening so far. Please check out my account Lady Silverstone at patreon.com so I can continue creating cannabis content for you. So what is your vision with it? Are you going to take it somewhere different?
Yeah, we really hope to. So for now, it's only online. We had plans for this year, but obviously with Corona, that didn't help. We wanted to do something alongside Product Earth and have our little woman of wheat space within Product Earth. So that was the plan, but obviously it didn't happen.
What is Product Earth? I'm not sure.
Product Earth is like a massive, it's a bit like Cannabis, but in the UK.
So is it more like organic focused, or?
You have of everything. So you have a section with organic product, farming, cultivating hemp. Then you have all the CBD industry. So all the different brands of CBD. But you also have people who are here to expose manufacturing machines. And then you have clothing. And then you have cosmetics, food. So it's really diverse. It's like hemp and cannabis industry, yeah.
Okay, cool. That sounds, so it's a big fair then.
It's a big fair. Last year it was over 3 or 4 days. People camp on site and there's gigs at night. It's a big thing. Yeah, people go there for a few days. That's cool.
Yeah, that sounds super nice, and also great for just building the connections and the network.
Exactly. That's why I enjoy these events. It's to meet people in real life that you only saw on Instagram and things like that, and to connect and see what's going on in the industry and learn and have fun. And it's really, really good event. So we were hoping to do something along that. It's just in the year coming, we really hope to be able to do more physical events, meet people, try to move a bit around the country as well for women who can't women who are more based in Scotland, in Ireland. We want to try to move and do things like that, little gatherings.
That's super nice. Yeah, but maybe going somewhere else as well, outside England, outside UK.
We would love to. If we have, a successful trial with events like Product Earth, maybe one day Cannabis, and you never know, yeah.
Well, in any case, this is just a long way that we're walking, right?
It is, because obviously we try to give all our time on it, but this is not a job. We don't make a living of it. We do everything for free with Women of Weed. We do send parcels, for example, me, when I get things for free from brands, I can then I send it for free to women who need it, like probably even more than I do. Everything that we do it for free. So for now, it's really hard to like ditch our day job to focus on that. So this is why things take time as well.
Yeah. Oh no, it's a hard thing, and I think a lot of people think that. I have a lot of people that said like, "Oh my God, you must make a lot of money." I'm like, no, I don't make a single like dollar. There is no money to make really. I mean, yes, you can get exactly, and that's where like the biggest drive is, and yes, of course, if in the future that we can skip our, let's say, day job, then that would be nice, because now same here, I'm freelancing, but it's still this, like it takes a lot of time to to save in on rent and stuff like that, and at the same time keeping up with just the content creation. It
takes a lot of time. That's dedication, because you have your day job, which is it takes a lot of energy, and that's not necessarily something you like. So it's like a lot of energy, and then you finish your job, and then you dedicate all your free time to the cause, to your passion. So you need to really be driven and create opportunities. So for me, I find it hard to have opportunities in England. But once Corona, I don't want to say disappears, but like once we can travel more easily again, then for me, that's really abroad that I have more opportunities. And then that's just about, taking risks and going for it.
Yeah. So how is it actually in the UK when it comes to advertisement? Because I've seen a lot of like UK CBD brands. They're having like, there's a few CBD stores, right?
Yeah.
They can make like a lot. It looks like at least that they can make like some advertisement, but then again, I don't even know if it's legal to do it, because it's not legal here.
So that's the thing. I have many friends who have their own businesses, CBD shops, and at the beginning, it was really unclear, and it is still somehow, like these shops have been here for like 3-4 years. It's still really unclear. You do it anyway. You sell your flowers, you sell your pre-rolls, you advertise, and just pray for the best, because literally the laws and legislation is just really blurred. There's nothing really clear. So people at the beginning, there was a bit tiptoeing around and people say that you can't advertise and things like that. But then, on Instagram, when you scroll through the stories, you get some sponsored ads and things like that. And sometimes some CBD sponsored ad, pops, and I'm like, wow, that's weird. So no one really knows what to do. So people try and see what happens.
Yeah, like some people are like, okay, I'm just going to take the risk and see what happens.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Literally, because the worst that can happen is just someone is going to take the ad down, or the police is going to come and tell you, well, you can't sell the flowers. And then a few weeks after, you resell flowers and then you're fine, so.
It's such a weird as well, like gray area. This whole thing, and that needs to be cleared up as well, because so many people working as well in content creation and social media around the cannabis business, and the rules are so unclear. I mean, if you work for any other brand, let's say a florist that sells just regular flower, we know the rules, right? I mean, you can take a photo of every single flower. You can say, hey, this is a rose or whatever, and, send that out. But as soon as it comes to cannabis, it's like no one really knows at all what you can say, what you cannot say.
No, exactly. And I've noticed on your post, for example, always at the bottom of your post, you have this disclaimer. And I think this is really clever. This is really smart, to like cover your back, with a disclaimer. And I'm always a bit skeptical, for my things to be taken down because of the hashtags I use. You're right. It's just really unclear, and this is not really fair.
Yeah. Actually, I got it from, this is so funny. You know how you don't know people's real names sometimes? You just know their Instagram name. So, Baby Smoker.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know her real name actually. Anyway, so it was her actually that she told me about so many times how she got shut down, and I'm like, fuck, I don't want that to happen to me. And also because you put in, even though yes, I do have a backup account, but oh my God, like all the work that you put down on posts and research.
Yeah, exactly. And I've had my Instagram for about 7 years now, and I'm like, if it was good, I didn't get like followers like that overnight, and it's been like a long journey, and I think it would be really sad to lose all the content, because it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work and money as well, the things I buy to make pictures and things like that, because I really enjoy doing that, and I think that would be quite sad.
Do you have a backup account as well?
No, I don't. I have a private account, like with my private stuff, like family photos and things like that, holiday, like, more private one, but I don't have a backup account.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking if they would take it down, do you have your photos stocked somewhere?
Maybe, I'm not sure, but yeah. So, but that's why also I feel so far I've been quite lucky, and I want to try to keep it this way. So make it as friendly, colorful, approachable as possible. Nothing that looks too dodgy, nothing, because that's really the thing. I really hope to stay up for as long as possible, because that's really the aim, to make the use of cannabis really mainstream, really mainstream, really normal, really cool, cute, girly, whatever. It's like really make it mainstream, basically. So that's why I hope it's not gonna have any incident with it, but it's
true, like you say, you have a very, very girly and like cuddly, cozy, homey, intimate feeling on your Instagram. Actually,
I'm glad it appears this way.
Yes, totally. I'm sure there's so many words I even miss, because it's really as if we get invited into your little cocoon. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I'm really touched. Thank you. That's the goal. I really want to make it, it's incorporated in my routine, in my lifestyle. And that's really the way I want to picture it. Like, I don't know, like people, really into fitness, how they show their equipment, their supplements when they go to the gym. It's really a lifestyle. And this is what I'm trying to do with mine as well. It's just showing bits and bobs of my life here, where cannabis is, and just make it normal as someone who takes like protein shake every day, or as normal as, these kind of things.
Exactly. Showing what you have in your purse. Yeah, you have your lipstick, blah, blah, blah. But you also have other stuff, this is just how your purse look,
Exactly.
Where would you want to go within this space? So let's say within 10 years, we're going to have this almost a bit the same, possibilities as there is in the US. Like, what would you like to do? Like, if you could do anything, if it didn't cost money, if you could just do whatever, like, what would it be?
So the big dream, because I spent like half of my life, I grew up in the countryside, in the middle of nowhere. I don't know if you saw the pictures, when I go back to my parents, it's like really displaced, really isolated. It's still like country heaven. And so my dream would be to go back there and probably have my own farm. Let's say the big dream, hemp, industrial hemp or cannabis, whatever, just cultivate the plant, be in the nature, be back in the country, and that would be the dream in the long term.
Okay, nice. So farmer then.
Yeah. my dad is a gardener. That's what he's been doing all his life, preserving biodiversity, cultivating local plants and fruits and veg and stuff. And this is something that I grew up with and I'm really attracted to.
That is so much part of your life already that it just comes natural as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Did you manage to grow anything back in Oregon or not?
We had plants in the backyard. Amazing cannabis. Yeah, like really good plants in the backyard, which was cool. Like having this massive cannabis trees, even like trees, the trunks were like bigger than my arms, and it's like just having that behind the house. Otherwise, no, back in France, we grow like our own veg and fruits, and it's a learning process. Yeah, you go with the seasons, and yeah,
it's a beautiful like plant to watch. I have a few friends growing, and it's just so fascinating.
Is it easier in Spain to have farms, cannabis farm or hemp? Like, is it legal?
I am not 100% sure. What I do know is that like So you know how they have like cannabis social clubs here in Spain?
Yes.
So those are the ones. So let's say you and I can start a cannabis social club. And then we can have these people subscribing as members.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say we have 20 people that subscribe as members.
Yeah.
And then it's up to like you and me to basically calculate like, okay, so for these 20 people plus us, we will need to grow 10 plants.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah.
And then, so I think like that's how you are able to grow. I am not really sure because it's really, really...
I see. You grow just what you need.
Exactly. They're not allowed to make any profit, for example. And yeah, so for the moment, it's basically that. Like, if I understand it right, I might be wrong, just so the listeners and you know as well, Lini, that like you can, like personal use is fine.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's, you know, not that you're not sitting with like 100 grams at home.
Yeah.
And no like small, if you would have a police coming to your house, even if you sit with only like 10 grams, if you have a lot of those small plastic bags, then they would assume that like, but hey, you're selling this. So that is obviously legal. But if you can basically prove that like, I have nothing as a home, this is only for my own personal use, you're allowed to grow at home, basically. And some people say that, yeah, up in Barcelona, you can grow 3 plants per person, for example. Down in the south, you can use 5. On Costa Blanca, you can grow this many. Like, it's very hard. And I don't know.
Well, I feel that takes us back to what we were saying before, that it's blurred lines.
Dear listeners, if you like what you hear, please check out my Patreon. The link is in the description here below. Only if you're able to, of course. Now, let's get back to our guest. This week, or earlier this week, there is this couple in Sweden. A couple with like 4 kids that has this, you know, they have this little piece of land where they grow industrial hemp. And to get, you know, the license to grow it, you need to go through like a lot of steps. I mean, everywhere in Europe, I can imagine it's the same. But especially in Sweden, because they are very hardcore when it comes to the hemp plant. They just see it as this devil-ish kind of flower. So anyway, they just had their farm fully raided with... They had about 1,000 plants, got all taken by the police, destroyed. And this is a little family that is doing this all for themselves, all for, you know, making oil, making teas, all these kind of stuff. And their whole grow for 2020 is gone.
Wow.
You know, and it's industrial hemp. It's not that they had, you know, small others, because they are super serious and really check these papers like 3 times over. Like, I cannot even begin to imagine, like, because all the work you put in growing hemp or anything, even if it was your eggplants, you know. So it's really hardcore how, like, we're living in 2020, and yes, cannabis as a recreational drug with THC inside, yes, it's still illegal. And let's say I understand that it's illegal because we still haven't got enough education for the change, even though it shouldn't have been there from the beginning. That's what I want to say, like, shouldn't have been there from the beginning. Yeah, we're still 2020 and we have farmers that has only 1,000 industrial hemp plants and is taken away. Like, it's ridiculous.
This is really sad. Yeah, this is really sad. When people start being more educated also, you know, about climate change even, you know, it's when you realize how climate change issues, like, you know, you start, I don't know, you learn about the benefits of hemp for the planet, for people, for everything. It's all linked, you know. Yeah, I just don't understand why we still have these issues.
What do you think is like the best way to talk to people, let's say the older generation, because I do feel that like that's where there's this little clash. Even though, yes, we can find a clash in our generation as well, for sure. It's still mostly from the generation above us. Like, what do you think?
Yes, so I had this issue with my parents. I had this issue with friends around me, my age. have like such strong stigma around cannabis. It's like, oh, you smoke to get high, and that's it basically. And then first, smoking to get high, okay, I don't even see why this would be a problem, because look, you drink to get drunk, you know. So why would it be a problem if I smoke to get high? You know, it's like, first, I don't understand that. But the way I do it is exactly the same way as I did with being vegan, without preaching around me, but just telling people why I did this or that, what it does to me, what it does to the planet, why I did this choice. And I always tell people, you don't have to be vegan. You just have to be more conscious about what you do. You just have to understand that environmentally, it's like, just, I don't ask you to smoke, but be open, don't judge. I'm not judging your ways. I'm not judging you getting drunk every night at the pub. Just be more open and understand that cannabis and hemp are really beneficial for so many things.
Yeah. So again, it comes back to education.
It just comes back to education, and people willing to be educated, willing to do the homework or listen, and yeah.
No, that's a very good advice. So I have a follower question that stood out a little bit more from what I already asked. And so it's, how did Nini realize that being a social media cannabis advocate was paving the way for others, and that was going to be what you did? And what rewards did you get from it? And like, was there some stuff that you didn't expect when you started like this whole journey?
Yes. So actually what I did not expect is also the reward. And I'm getting goosebumps just to think of it. It's like on a daily basis, people telling me, thank you for what you do, keep doing such great work, and thank you for the support, thank you for being here, love you. People sending me stuff. People make a lot of things for me, like they make stuff. Actually, they take time to make me things and to send it to me, like not brands, you know, not brands want me to try their product, like people actually showing gratitude and love and support. And I always thought, I don't do anything. I don't feel I'm doing anything. But apparently what is really dear to me, to make cannabis mainstream and to just try to make it in the open and to change the image that people could have about it, which is dark and creepy and dodgy and shady and all that. And people really do feel that it's somehow changing mentalities around them. So people who are cannabis users, they're like, they show their parents or they show their family, their grandparents, whatever. They're like, oh, look at this account. You know, they show my pictures. They're like, look at how, you know, so normal and cute and colorful it is. You know, cannabis can be cool. And if Nina does it, then it's okay. And, you know, I feel for me, that's been the reward. It's been I don't want to say intentionally, like, because it's intentional for me to help people, but that it kind of worked unexpectedly, you know. And the reward also is to, especially with Women of Weed, is to connect women together. Because alongside my journey in cannabis, I met many women who suffer a lot from mental health issues or really big disabilities that really makes them feel isolated. They also live really far and they don't know any other women who consume cannabis. They don't have anyone to talk to. They don't have anyone to socialize with, or anyone even who understands their consumption, you know. And my account and Women of Weed really help making this happen. So women who were isolated before, really struggling with anxiety and depression, they wrote to me and they said, thank you for what you're doing. I connected with this girl, we met, we had a smoke. Now I'm showing things on Instagram and I have social media and I'm doing things and I'm selling that. And, you know, it really, I feel, kind of showed the example that you could show your love for cannabis and that it's okay, you know. Allowing people to come out, you know, basically. It was like a coming out. And I feel what I did helped people doing it too.
Yeah, so it like helped you as well coming out and bloom out within like your space, and that is helping other people doing the same.
Yeah, I think I don't know if explained well, but you summarized it properly.
No, but it makes a lot of, I mean, that is how it is. That's why we, connect on, especially Instagram, like just like you say, same, that's what I feel as well. Like the relationships that you build on Instagram with people just in DMs is incredible.
And you feel people are here for you, you're here for them. Always, just to know that someone is present, someone who understands you, someone who gets it, who's here, available for any DM, anytime, I feel sometimes it's enough,
Yeah. Oh, totally. Okay, so I have 2 more questions before I'm gonna let you prepare for the Indian second day. What was your initial relationship with cannabis? Like, did you use it recreationally or medically?
Well, that was recreationally because I was introduced to it by friends who were smoking, just casual, like instead of going to the pub, like let's go to mine on Friday and get high, it's just that. So this is how I used it. I discovered recreational cannabis at the same time as I discovered CBD. So these 2 uses really were combined for me. And I didn't necessarily notice anything while consuming a lot of CBD and a lot of cannabis, didn't notice anything. But this is during periods of time where I stop. For example, if I go to France for 2 weeks, usually I don't take any weed with me. And this is periods of time, where I stop, that I realize everything that it did to me, everything that it does to me health-wise as a supplement, mental health, physical health, because I do have chronic condition. I have arthritis in my knee. I have really bad blood pressure in my eyes. I have a few things going on like that, which cannabis helps a lot with. And for me, it's like I use it literally as a supplement. Cannabis, CBD, whatever, I use it as a supplement. And I do, after a long day at work, I do like just consuming recreationally, to fly, to forget about the day, to relax, to get into my bubble. And this is something else I realized with cannabis for me, is that it helps me put myself into a bubble full of creativity. So the times I'm the most creative and the most productive is actually when I smoke, because it helps me disconnect from London. And London for me is really, really busy, really overwhelming. A lot of people, you have to go out, you have to socialize, overwhelming with information, crowds, noise. And when I go home and I smoke, I really disconnect and I can reconnect with myself, with the things that I like. I can focus and I love that. And also about cannabis, what I noticed is a really long journey. So how my life changed, health changed, and mental health changed, and mindset. All of that changed over the few past years when I started consuming cannabis regularly.
Okay, cool. And how about, like, what did your parents say when you showed them your Instagram and your work generally?
Well, they that's funny because they are a bit mixed, because my parents, I told you, they are in this little village in the countryside. So there's a part of them who is really proud. They are really proud to show, oh, that's my daughter, look at what she does, look at her art and things like that. So, they're quite proud. But there's always the aspect where my mom worries, because there's still a bit the stigma around there. For example, one of their friends got arrested because he had smoked a joint, and then he went for a drive and the police caught him and they arrested him. So my parents are always scared that something like that happens to me. They're always scared that it influences me losing my job, me not being able to pay my rent. There's always this stigma that cannabis could ruin your life, when it's not true. And that's really what I'm trying to show them, and with the things that I do.
Yeah, and also like all those things, except maybe if you get in the car and you're really high and you can get into an accident, but all the other things is only because of the prohibition.
It is.
Because if you lose your job because of it, it's not because you come high to work. No, it's because like the legality of you coming high to work, and that might be you see, it's not even like any other thing. Like, so it's the stigma and the prohibition that is that might ruin your life, not the cannabis itself.
Yeah. When they talk about cannabis on French TV, for example, it's always drug, young people got high, they got into an accident, kilos of drug, cannabis has been like found and the police has it and people were arrested. It has like such a bad reputation. Like in France, they talk about cannabis like you would talk about cocaine, you know? So there's no difference in people's mind when you say, oh, I consume cannabis, I do cannabis marketing, whatever. People are like, oh my God, this is the cartel. This is like illegal. This is dangerous. This is prison.
Yes.
This is like, oh yeah, this is the mafia, the prison, you're going to die. It's like, just because it's considered as a drug and it's illegal, you know?
It's so sad. Like here, when we say it just out loud, I'm like, this is so ridiculous. Yeah, it's so sad. Anyway, babe, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It went so fast. We almost talked for like an hour.
Oh, wow.
It just flew by. But
that's why I'm thirsty.
Yeah. Should have gotten yourself a little tea or something. Anyway, you need to prepare, babe, because you're gonna dance for hours.
Exactly.
Yes. And I look forward to see your stories as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good luck with everything.
Yay! Thank you so much. Have an awesome day, babe. Bisous.
Bisous.
Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to my social channels and rate this podcast. And if you would like to support me a little bit extra, it would really mean the world to me. So check out my Patreon profile that I linked in the episode description. It's all thanks to your support that I can continue talking, writing, recording, and making more cannabis content for you and our amazing community. Have an awesome day and lots of love.